Hello, hello, hello. So glad to see that evolution is a fraud is very common nowadays. Lots and lots of people are realizing it and are saying that evolution is a fraud. It's nothing more than a religion. I just want to add a little two-point from my book. My name is Elder Jimmy J. Biggs, Jr. Evolution can't be true because evolution is someone's dream. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Pardon me. Charles Darwin himself said in his book, The Origin of Species, and I quote, "There must be numerous transitionals found before I can complete my theories." Charles Darwin went on to try to discover them, and as he later wrote in one of his other books, Charles Darwin, My Life and Times, he said, "When we descend, we find no change of species one from another, which is the basis of our argument, ideology." Charles Darwin himself proved that evolution is a biological impossibility. Charles Darwin proved himself, yet most evolutionists today don't read Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin over 140 years proved it, that it's a biological impossibility. I'll give you one small answer, then I'll go on. I have other snippets to give within my short epitaphs here about evolution. I have a book out called Evolution is a Fraud. It's nothing more than a religion. Take, for instance, the Big Bang. All evolutionists and most creationists believe that the Big Bang happened, and that is all of a sudden, for no reason, from nowhere, by no causation that man can comprehend, calculate, regulate, emulate, guesstimate. It just happened, this great giant explosion that all of the universe expelled from. Well, from this explosion, some believe that the earth came from the sun. Some believe that the earth came out of the explosion and went into the synchronous orbit that it has around the sun and all the other planets in the universe as they are maintaining and retaining today. And I agree that that is an interesting analogy. The question is, number one, first, who told all the stars and planets and satellites to maintain this synchronous orbit? Who told them to do this around the different stars, the 400 billion stars around the universe? Who ensued? Who instructed? Well, we won't put religion in yet. I personally think it was the one God Almighty. We won't say that because I don't want people to say that this is my religious attitude, although I am a faithful person, a God-fearing person. Let's go forward. Let's go forward. Second, as the planets came out of the Big Bang, our planet, planet Earth, Terra is what it's called, it also came out of the Big Bang, and it was molten lava. You know, the same kind of molten lava that comes out of the Kilauea volcanoes in Hawaii and other places around the earth, and it's liquid red rock just flowing like water, so thin but thick, but actually liquid rock. I was hitting on my table. Anyway, over the course of time, the evolutionist ideology says that this rock turned to liquid. From liquid to a solid rock. Because our whole surface of our planet was covered with this liquid rock. And in the minus 200 degrees of space, it became solid. A solid rock. From a liquid rock to a solid rock. Makes sense. Logical common sense question. Where did the water come from? Some might ask, what water? You know, the water that covers 2/3 of our planet. The water that goes from 4 miles to 7 miles down, you know, as the Mariana Trench goes, you know, in Italy, where the boat capsized, was run aground on a shelf and was raised a few months ago. Well, at the bottom of that shelf is the Mariana Trench. It's 7 miles down. The question remains, where did the water come from this liquid rock that now is a hard, solid rock? Where did the water come from? Or better yet, how did the water come here? There are no working models. There is no proof, facts, or evidence to show that water can come here. So how do we get water on this planet? Out of all the other 9 planets that have no commonality to this planet. Am I sounding a little crazy? No, it goes back to Darwin. He proved it. Evolution is a virtual, scientific impossibility. It cannot happen. It did not happen. Do you understand? So what the evolutionists are engaged in is nothing more than religious enthusiasm. Religious enthusiasm. Because you have to believe in something without proof, facts, or evidence that it happened. That's religion. That's faith. That's belief. That's what I do. I believe in all that. I believe in things you cannot see, touch, smell, or taste, but I believe that they happen. That's called having faith, which is a cousin to belief. Yes, without touching or having or seeing. That's called belief. And so evolutionists are engaged largely in believing in something they have not seen, touched, or felt. You see, there's no working model of water coming to this planet. No working model. None. Okay, last I'll give you this short one and I'll go, because I'm doing a lot of short runs on this one. Mrs. Barbara Bush, the wife of Herbert Walker Bush, the mother of George W. Bush, in 2009 needed a heart valve she needed to have a new one. She needed a new one. And of course, they couldn't rush her in front of everybody else that was in line before her to get a replacement. So what happened? Squirrels in my attic. So what happened? The doctors came to Mrs. Bush and they said, you know, we're experimenting successfully with some animal replacement parts for human parts. Are you interested in trying one of them? Well, Mrs. Bush, being a progressively smart, knowledgeable woman that she is, Mrs. Barbara Bush, the mother of George W. Bush, the wife of Herbert Walker Bush, she said, okay. And they did it. And they successfully completed it. And Mrs. Herbert Walker Bush, George Walker Bush's mother's wife, is walking around today, alive and well, with her 3 pearls on her neck still, because of the transplant she received from an animal. Now, this is where the plot thickens, or the rest of the story, as Steve Harvey used to say. Question, short quiz. What animal did